There's a lot of people.
Call a meeting of the Brockton City Council for November 22nd, 2021 to order. Would you rise and salute the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number one, Mr. Clerk.
Acceptance of the minutes of the November 8th, 2021 City Council meeting.
Accepted and filed.
Mr. President,
Councilor Lally.
I'd like to make a motion that we take items number 2 and 3 collectively and act on them this evening.
Second. There's been a motion made and properly seconded to take items 2 and 3 collectively and act on them this evening. All those in favor? All those opposed? It is a vote. Mr. Clerk.
Promotion of Fire Lieutenant Brendan R. Weeks to the rank of Fire Captain in the Brockton Fire Department. Number 3, promotion of firefighter Jonathan A. Roderick to the rank of Fire Lieutenant in the Brockton Fire Department.
Question now comes on confirmation of the promotions. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Of course, yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The promotions are confirmed. Is there a motion to reconsider?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second. All right. Motion made and properly seconded for reconsideration in the hope it does not prevail. All in favor? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Gentlemen, congratulations. Please stand. This is always my chance to say that passing these exams is no easy task. It requires time management, time away from your family. It requires a highly competitive examination for which you have to score highly to be promoted. So we extend to both of you sincere best wishes on a long and healthy and happy career. We really appreciate your service to the city.
Thank you.
Recess.
We can take a brief recess so all of you don't have to stay here and listen to us. So we'll be in a brief recess. All right, we're back from recess. Mr. Clerk, item number 4.
Appointment of Peggy Curtis of 153 Dixon Road, Brockton, Mass. to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Referred to the Finance Committee.
Reappointment of Brian Madden of Brockton, Mass. to the Brockton Community Access Board for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Councilors, this is a reappointment. Any pleasure? You want it to Finance? Referred to Finance.
Item number 6, reappointment of Julie Casterdeus of Brockton to the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Referred to Finance.
Hearings, the petition of National Grid and Mass Electric Company requesting permission to erect and maintain poles and wires to be placed thereon, together with sustaining and protecting fixtures as said company may deem necessary in the following public way or ways. Montello Street, installing 2 new poles, pole 85-50 and 85-51, to provide electrical service to a new building at 1200 Montello Street. In City Clerk's office, September 28th, 2021, postponed from October 12th, 2021, and October 25th, 2021, and November 8th. Hearing assigned for November 22nd, 2021. All paperwork is on file. However, councilors, we still have not heard if they want to move forward. I would recommend tabling this.
Make a motion to table this item.
Motion made to table this item. All in favor? All opposed? Item is tabled.
Mr. President, I would like to take number 43 out of order. I know that we're waiting on a technical issue, but I know I promised them that they wouldn't be here too late this evening.
They're going to have to do it verbally.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have a cable, but we'll go forward. All right, there's been a motion made to take that item out of order. Second. And it's properly seconded. All in favor? All opposed? We will take that item out of order, and we would welcome our visitors.
Number 43, resolve. Whereas there is a continuing problem in the Brockton area with opioid addiction and other substance abuse issues. Whereas there is an ongoing program with the cycle of homelessness and outreach to those persons most affected by the substance abuse problem. Whereas there is an ongoing problem with the volume and understanding of the programs administered in Brockton to battle the recurring issues caused by drug addiction. Therefore, be it resolved to invite BAMSI, formerly known as Brockton Area Multi-Service, Inc., and its staff to address members of the Brockton City Council to speak about services that are provided to individuals and families who are struggling with the disease of addiction. Further, that BAMSI speak about the services that are offered to people who are actively using substances in the city, and in particular those evidence-based harm reduction practices that have proven successful in promoting recovery and saving lives. Members of the BAMSI team will explain programs and reveal data, both national and local, to demonstrate the efficacy of these programs. Postpone November 8th, 2021 to the November 22, 2021 City Council meeting. And councilors, I want to apologize. They do have a PowerPoint presentation. However, we are missing the cord to connect to that, and they will have to give a verbal presentation. We will place their presentation on the website tomorrow.
Good evening, sir. Would you just give your name for the record? And again, we apologize. We'll have the PowerPoint emailed to us by the clerk's office as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Yes. Council members, my name is Peter Evers, and I have the privilege of being the CEO of BAMSI, Brockton Area Multi-Service, Inc.
Well, welcome, and please proceed.
Thank you so much. I really want to thank the members of the council for agreeing to come, for us to come and chat for a little bit about the services of BAMSI, particularly those services that we provide for people who struggle with the disease of addiction. Brockton is not unusual in its struggle with dealing with the issue of addiction. It's a worldwide issue, and I think, especially during the COVID pandemic, some of those issues have raised their head even higher above the pulpit, if you like. BAMSI has been providing these services for many years, and if I can, I know today that we're going to speak about our community outreach and education program, but just in context, BAMSI is an organization that I'm sure many of you have heard of before. It's been providing services, human services, in the city of Brockton and beyond. In fact, all the way out to Worcester, all the way up to Tewkesbury, but primarily in the Brockton region. And when you look at the numbers, we provide around 80 residential homes for people with mental illness and with developmental disabilities, serving about 400 people. We serve overall in our community projects about 42,000 people. That is 42,000 individuals receiving services from really newborns with our WIC program, our Women, Infants and Children program, all the way through to the elder services that we provide in our Dawn Davis program, which is in the tower blocks. Really what we're dealing with is social determinants of health. We're dealing with illness. And in many cases, we're dealing with loneliness and isolation. These factors often contribute to people who live lives very short. In fact, people with serious mental illness live 25 years shorter than the general population. And when we're dealing with addiction and the drugs that are on the street at the moment, people's lives are cut short by overdose, oftentimes because they don't know what they're taking. So the COPE program is an extraordinarily important program to BAMSI and to the community. And I'm going to get out the way and let the people who are doing the work speak about the programs, and we'll just go through who we serve. We'll look at some, as we said, some local and some national statistics. So first of all, I would like to invite Jessica Almeida, who is the Director of Operations for our Behavioral Health and Community Support. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
Please adjust that if you have to.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. So what is COPE? COPE stands for Community Outreach, Prevention, and Education. The majority of our funding we get is from the Department of Public Health. But COPE is a place where people can go who are really struggling with addiction. It is, the staff are absolutely amazing. I can't say enough about them. It's a non-judgmental place where people can go for help. Most of the individuals we serve are facing a lot of stigma in their life. They're not welcome at a lot of places, but they're always welcome at COPE. So BAMSI's been providing HIV services in the city of Brockton for over 30 years. We started providing HIV testing in 1989, and again, that's where there was a lot of stigma then. Actually, our testing sites were actually in secret locations. In 1992, we added case management services for people living with HIV. In 1996 is when COPE opened. We were the first drop-in center that the state funded. In 2009, we started providing overdose education and naloxone distribution. I'm sure most of you have heard of Narcan. That's a big part of what we do. And in 2016, we began providing harm reduction syringe services. I think I talked about that. Again, the folks that we see face a lot of stigma. So they're always welcome at COPE, and they can always get the services that they need. Some of the other services we provide, we do street outreach, we do syringe collection, we do confidential HIV, hepatitis C, and other STI testing. We provide STI treatment. We provide harm and risk reduction materials. Overdose prevention, I said Narcan, we provide a lot of Narcan. We provide Narcan to the people who are actively using, as well as their friends, their family members, and to other agencies in the city. We provide referrals to medical and substance use treatment. We provide syringe services, which one of my colleagues is going to talk a little bit more in detail about. And we also provide basic needs such as socks, coats, hygiene products. The majority of the people we serve are experiencing homelessness. Some statistics from the CDC, and these will be on the presentation that you'll get. But obviously the opioid crisis is fueling a dramatic increase in infection and disease associated with injection drug use. The majority of Hep C infections are due to injection drug use. By coming to COPE and getting clean syringes and getting risk reduction materials, our goal is to reduce hepatitis and HIV infections. Again, the opioid epidemic has also produced a lot of stigma around substance use disorder and injection drug use. And it also contributes to people not wanting to seek help because of the stigma. COPE offers a space where all are welcome, they're treated with respect, and given the services that they need. Jesse Pack, who's the Director of HIV Services, is going to speak next.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Pack. I'm the Director of HIV Services at BAMSI in Brockton. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the syringe services programming, which is part of our COPE program. As my esteemed colleague already alluded to, we don't just do syringe services programming at COPE. We do supported referrals for substance use disorder treatment, including telehealth for Suboxone on site for folks who want to get help. We do wound care for infected abscesses. We do on-site HIV, Hep C, and STI testing, as well as we link people who test positive to treatment services. But I want to talk a little bit more deeply about syringe services programming and why it's a good thing for this city, for our city, I should say. And that's because the syringe services programs are an evidence-based practice going way back to over 30 years. They've been demonstrated to work to reduce dramatically the rates of HIV and hepatitis C infection among people who inject drugs. Typically, SSPs, also, which is the acronym for Syringe Services Programs, but SSPs are often a bridge to other health services such as testing and treatment. most importantly, and this is the reason that SSPs exist in the first place, is they are intended to prevent blood-borne transmission of infections such as HIV and viral hepatitis. For those who inject drugs, obviously the best way to avoid getting an infection is to not inject drugs at all. But for those who are injecting drugs, they need to use clean and sterile injection equipment every time they inject. Now, people are mostly injecting right now in Brockton in the eastern part of the state is fentanyl. And if you have a strong fentanyl habit, you're needing to inject every 2 to 4 hours. So that's a lot of needles that people need to keep themselves from getting sick and to keep from sharing needles and passing an illness unknowingly to someone else. Other statistics from the Centers for Disease Control about SSPs. SSPs are associated with an estimated 50% reduction in HIV and viral hepatitis incidence amongst people who use drugs. And it's been found through research that people who inject drugs and use SSPs regularly are nearly 3 times as likely to report a reduction in injection frequency and are 3 to 5 times more likely to enter substance use disorder treatment because they're already receiving services. I also want to talk a little bit about harm reduction, which is a term that is often stigmatized. Harm reduction refers to policies, programs, and practices that aim to minimize negative health, social and legal impacts associated with drug use, drug policies, and drug laws. Harm reduction is grounded in justice and human rights. It focuses on positive change and working with people without judgment, coercion, discrimination, or requiring that they stop using drugs as a precondition of support. The goals of harm reduction are to keep people alive, number 1, and encourage any positive change in their lives. Other goals of harm reduction include offering alternatives to approaches that seek to prevent or end drug use. And we meet people where they are to give them the services they need at that time. With that being said, I want to call up my colleague, Mary Corlin, who is the program manager of COPE. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Corlin. I am the program manager at the COPE Center. And I am just going to talk a little bit about the number of syringes distributed and the number of syringes collected. In the fiscal year of 2021, the number of syringes distributed was 57,944, and the number of syringes collected was 57,944. There seems to be a misconception that we give them out. We do not collect anybody. We collect almost exactly the same amount as we give out. I do have a quote here from one of our clients that I wanted to read really quickly. There's not a name listed, but it's a current client. I said I wouldn't write her name. She said, "The last thing that I would ever want is for anyone to ever get pricked or hurt by one of my syringes. That's why the COPE Center is so important. I have a hard time getting around these days, but the COPE Center is close enough downtown for me to get to. I do sleep better knowing that my syringes will be disposed of properly," which is typical of our clients. They don't want, you know, they may be using, but they don't want to hurt anybody else, and they want them to be disposed of properly. So yeah, that is for 2021.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you for taking the time to listen to some of the descriptions about the COPE Center. And the COPE Center is actually located at 74 Pleasant Street in Brockton. And just to finish, we don't do this in isolation. We have many community partners that we work with, and they include Brockton Neighborhood Health Center, where we provide Narcan and work on their mobile van, Health Imperatives, High Point Treatment Centers, Edwina Martin House, Teen Challenge, Homeless Improvement Project, Cape Verdean Association, and Brockton Public Schools. This is an effort that involves an awful lot of people who I'm sure would say the same things as we did tonight. So I thank you very much and would totally open up for questions.
Councilor Azak, did you file this?
Yes, I did.
All right, Councilor Azak.
Thank you. First of all, I want to welcome Mr. Evers because he's newly in this position as CEO, but from my understanding, he's not new to Brockton, but just new to this position. So welcome, and thank you for agreeing to come before us this evening. And thank you for what BAMSI does in our community, because I know you offer a lot of services, as we've heard tonight. So my main question and what really brought us here this evening is the issue that, there's a number, and I believe Mary, is it the person that just spoke? Okay, thank you, Mary. So you said that you've distributed 57,954 needles and you've collected the same number. So where do you think the problem is that there's needles out there? It's a problem we have, and we're dealing with it. And we're not saying it's, any one specific person's fault, but how can we fix it if obviously it's not just distributing the needles?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're well aware of that. When you think about solving problems, it's where, where is the nexus of our agreement? And the nexus of the agreement here is that nobody wants to see needles on the ground. And there is a big educational push with our program. We leaflet people, we give information to them saying, we don't want to do this. We don't want to harm our reputation in the community. But people don't always make good decisions when they're in the throes of addiction. It is up to us to educate. It's also up to us to work with our community partners who also have syringe programs as well. We also commit to picking needles up in places where they're found, and are willing to work with the city on any other initiative that they think would be necessary or would help with the situation.
Thank you, and I know you've been in contact with our mayor, Mayor Sullivan. This is, you realize that it's a problem, and we are working together to find a solution. So I appreciate that, and once again, I'm going to leave it open to my colleagues, but I wanted to thank you for coming before us and sharing this important information. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Monahan, this is in Ward 2, so.
Yes. We have a ton of needles found at the B.B. Russell School, also in my ward, that the custodians are going out and picking up. There's a lot of people that volunteer. Needles are all over the place, hundreds and hundreds every day. They're picking them up. Is it possible, are there any other programs that are giving out, have needle exchange in the city?
Yes.
Who would they be? You're the only needle exchange?
In the city. Sorry.
Okay, so, but are you, okay. So every needle you've given out, you've gotten back?
I think we get a lot of needles back, but I don't think we can say that every one we give out, that one comes back.
Well, the numbers, did you say you
Distributed from other places. And you can get them at any pharmacy. Yeah, you can get them anywhere. We're the only people that take them back.
Okay, and so is it possible that they're probably not getting them all back, or whatever's going on when people come to you to get more needles? Is it a one-for-one exchange?
If somebody comes and asks for a needle and they don't have one to exchange, then we don't deny them a needle, if that's the question.
Well, how many do you give out at once? Well, do you give 10 out? Do you give one?
Typically 10, Jesse said.
10?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to come back for a one-on-one exchange. You can come in there, grab 10. You might never see those again. You can come back in. So we're not really collecting all of them.
Well, we are collecting.
You're collecting some of them, but.
Yes, well, a number that is very close to the number that we're
All
giving
right.
out.
And so I think, now, have you been aware of the areas that these needles are being found? Because a lot of them in the schools, which really is disturbing, especially when you got a kindergarten, preschool at BB Russell, and they're going out and playing, and like you just said, you don't want to have somebody, especially a child, pick one of those up and infect themselves. It's great, everybody wants to have the free needles, the needles so they don't get it. But like your concerns were also that, we don't want innocent people getting, especially school children. So can you possibly increase, now you guys go out to these different areas and pick them up?
Yeah.
So how many people do you have doing that?
We have 2 people that go out at a time.
Every day?
And they go to a few places at a time, but if there's a place that you'd like us to come to,
Yeah,
let us know. We'll send somebody.
okay.
They go out a couple times a week. Yeah.
All right, great. I didn't know if you guys, I know there's like places that a lot of them that are having these issues go specifically to do it.
I think it's if we hear that there's an issue, and for instance,
Yeah.
the homeless encounter at Westgate, the encampment at Westgate is somewhere where we went to pick up needles because we knew
Right.
that there was an issue there because it was brought to our attention.
Okay, so that's all we need to do is this, all right, so if I say, check the BB Russell School every day, you guys can go down there and do that?
Yeah.
Okay, for that's the one that I'm
I didn't
more
wanna
worried
promise
about right
something.
now, but yeah, if you could keep that on your list and change, okay, all right, thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Cardoza.
Hello, Mr. Everest?
Yes,
How do you spell your name? Sorry.
EVERS.
I was close. Thank you for being here. Can you tell me, you said that you service about 42,000 clients?
Yep.
Of those clients, how many are Brockton residents?
Ooh, the majority of them.
They are?
Yeah, the majority of them. We have residential programs that are in the southeast, but most of our community-based programs, which is where we see the majority of people are in the Brockton area, yeah.
Okay, and then thank you for talking about the collaborations, because I was going to ask you if you're collaborating with other organizations in the city that has the same type of programs. So the city has a champion program. Do you collaborate with the champion program at all?
Yeah.
And what does that entail? Can you speak to that?
Can you step up so the people at home can hear you?
It's okay. We actually have a grant with the city, and we, unfortunately, due to the struggle hiring staff, we've had a vacancy for a while, but we do, we hopefully will be providing testing on site at the Champion Plan soon. I know that the COPE staff collaborate with the Champion Plan, like they do referrals back and forth, so the Champion Plan may refer someone to us for harm reduction services or for testing, and then we refer folks to the Champion Plan to help get them into treatment sometimes.
Okay. And what's that position?
No,
That's
so
available.
we have one of our staff persons, she is
Oh, that's
new.
right, yeah.
She does half of her time, 20 hours at the Cope Center and 20 hours at the Champion Plan.
Okay.
And we also just filled a new position.
And that's through
full-time at
through the
Champion
grant?
Plan.
Yep, so the full-time position where we're going to be doing testing on site is through the, it's a COAP grant. I can't tell you off the top of my head exactly what that is, but we're working with Jasmine on that. We used to work with Corin on that grant. And then the half-time person is actually through the Healing Communities Grant, which is a federal grant and with the goal of reducing opioid overdoses by 40%. So half her time at the Champion Plan, she's available to connect folks to substance use treatment through telehealth.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then Brockton Neighborhood Health Center, they have an HIV program as well.
Yes, they do.
So
We've
you
been
collaborate-
working with the health center for years, since the beginning of their HIV program. Our case management program works with them, with their staff. We send a lot of our clients for medical care at the health center. We also, the health center has a new mobile van where they're going around to different spots in the city providing harm reduction services, including syringe access. And we have a staff that's on that once a week, right?
Okay, how about with the police department?
We don't have any formal, like, programming with the police, but I know that the police have come by COPE to drop off syringes.
Yeah.
They've brought people there for help before, I
Yeah,
think.
well, they've come if we've had situations where people are in need of more help than we can provide. They've come by and they've been very helpful, and
Because what I find in the city, I have my own nonprofit as well, is that folks tend to work in silos in this city too much. And there are a lot of great programs, but they're not in sync. And so I think the more we collaborate, the more effective we are. So I'm always a strong, proponent to collaboration and making sure we're making best use of the funding streams that are coming in. We get all of these funds, but everybody's doing their own separate thing. And that's why it doesn't work. So thank you for speaking about that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Evers, welcome. What is your annual operating budget now?
It's around about 95 million.
95 million?
Yeah. A great deal of that comes from the residential homes that we run.
As the council from Ward 2 was saying, the needle issue is a real issue for us in the city. Are there like deposits, like needle boxes that are placed in different places for people to drop off their needles?
We do provide, we give them out. We give out small individual ones for people that come in daily. We give out larger boxes for people to bring home. We have larger boxes in some of the common places that, there's syringe use.
Yeah, like around the areas where people are using
Like
the
certain
needles.
parks and, places where people are.
Are they
sleeping in
visible for
tents.
people to see?
Oh, yeah.
Are they attached to like
No.
structure or something? How does that work?
They're just
They're just little boxes on the ground?
buckets, yep.
Little buckets on the ground?
Well, they're sharps containers, so
Sharps
you can
container,
put them
yeah.
in and people can't get them
You
out.
can't open them.
But we don't have any like permanent,
Yeah.
structure boxes. We have one at Cope.
Right.
But we don't have the funding to get something like a mailbox type of thing to put around. That is, we have had discussions with Mayor Sullivan about
Yes.
that. But
And how-
if there's a homeless encampment or something, the staff will leave those sharps containers and then go back,
Switch
a
them
couple
out.
days later and pick them up, and so they're not actually on the ground.
Yeah, because one of the issues is the school that Councilor Monahan was talking about. It's a park that's used regularly by a lot of people, not just children in school, but adults that play outdoor sports in those places. It probably would make sense to put something like that around that area since it's a troubled area.
Yeah.
With some signage and some ideas of kind of directing people towards those facilities, it might work out. And that's why I'm, looking at a 95, how much do those boxes cost?
Quite
DPH.
expensive. I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
the
you mean like
exact
the
number,
big,
but
Like a decent size that,
big ones? We,
like the one you have at Cope.
the black one,
the-
the chrysalis one?
Yeah.
I don't know how, it's been there since
it's
before
probably
me.
a few $1,000s, I'd imagine.
Few $1,000s to resolve a
Yeah,
problem?
I think the ones that we were talking to Mayor Sullivan with were 15,000.
Yeah, they were more,
Oh.
yeah, they were quite expensive.
The secure ones that
Yeah.
are, you can't move, I think they're between $15,000 and $20,000.
I think it's money well spent, to be honest with you, because if it's, and we saw this, we had an individual coming in here with a bag full of syringes and stuff that he just picked up from, doing his regular work, cleaning up some areas and things like that. So if it could actually prevent some of these needles from getting in the wrong hands or putting some folks in danger in a way, I think it's money well spent. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say that we also do provide equipment that they use for the cleanups.
Okay.
We give them all the tools they need to do it successfully, safely.
Yeah, because we want to support the folks that are using, drugs in our community that have an addiction issue, but we also want to make sure that we protect the general population that is not doing the addicted drugs, in the community. And the percentages versus those that are using and those that aren't using is not even, it's night and day in the sense, but that small percentage could actually cause harm to our general population in the sense. And that's what we wanted to make sure that at least we're putting some effort behind making sure that, yes, we're providing those services, but we provide them safely as well so that it doesn't come back and harm the general population, especially with kids that we're dealing with in schools.
I mean, we'll definitely add the BB Russell to our, pickups, but if, like we said, if anyone finds, an area, let us know. We don't know until you tell us if there's someplace.
Well, it's around the parks, around the downtown circle. We know where the folks are hanging out that are using drugs. We have an idea where it is, so it makes sense to kind of focus your attention in those areas.
That is what we do. We do.
And BB Russell is a major place because, again, it's the sporting complexes, the sporting areas that people are using that make it even more of a dire need in terms of putting an effort into it to make sure that we get that done. It might be, have you guys contemplated like contracting with somebody like Work Express that might be able to help you guys out in terms of going around picking, because they do trash pickup and a variety of other things. Is it something that you've contemplated?
No, I mean, it isn't something. We could certainly look at it. I mean, again, we'd have to.
It might be cost effective to do that. I mean, it's cheaper than hiring staff to physically do that if you can contract with them. That's something that you might want to look into, and that it would actually make it a lot easier for all of us, so that we're not sitting here talking about needle pickup on a regular basis. But thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Thompson?
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm not going to belabor the point, but I just want to quickly echo the issue of the needle problem. Ward 5 borders Ward 2, and it is a problem in our ward as well. So quick question, other than needles, is there any other drug use paraphernalia that you hand out to those who require needles? And if so, what is that paraphernalia?
We give out everything that they need to use safely. So we give out syringes, we give out pipes, we give out cottons, cookers, vitamin C, everything to make sure that they can use safely and not contract diseases.
Okay, and are those items that are counted to be returned as well as the syringes, or is it only syringes that you're counting?
Just syringes.
All right. Do people, when they come, do you provide them a place on site to use, or they go off and use wherever they want? Okay. You also stated that you have 2 people dedicated to cleaning up the syringes or any other paraphernalia. How often do they go out?
So we've increased it as of recently. It was 1 day out of the week. Now we've increased it to 2 days out of the week. We only have a team of 4. So we need to have 2 in-house for safety and 2 on outreach for safety.
And you stated that you have regular areas that you go to. Can you name what those areas are?
The shelter, the area near the shelter, and the
So Perkins
the
Park.
downtown
Okay.
areas. We over there, behind like Walmart and Westgate.
Mall
There's
area.
not DW, the other side, like closer to the highway. There's one on the other side of Walmart. There's one behind DPW. They're kind of scattered everywhere, but those are the larger ones.
Okay, and when you send people out there, do you often find a lot of needles? Is that your experience that those are heavily trafficked areas for drug use?
We get a lot back, but not so much on the ground as a lot of people think. We give them the boxes and they use the boxes.
Okay. And you often said if we have any trouble places, please reach out. Can you leave your information? I don't know who to reach out to. Is there any way you can leave me your card or some other contact information?
Yeah, the information is all in the PowerPoint, which we'll leave a copy of this, but we'll also send an electronic version of the.
We'll have that on the city website tomorrow.
If anybody had a card today,
I'm the manager, I can give you a card.
I'd appreciate that. All right, and thank you for coming before us. We just want to reiterate, any any efforts or continued efforts or even increased efforts to help us address the needle issue, especially in our schools, would be greatly appreciated. We want to be partners here, and so that partnership obviously goes both ways. And so we thank you for your efforts, and good evening, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else? I just have one question, sir. You're the experts. Do you know what other cities are doing with trying to contain the discarded needle issue? Do you have any, is there anything we haven't asked you that you might be able to offer that we aren't doing and we could do?
Some cities have syringe take-back days. So Easton just gave us thousands. Once a year, they do a syringe take-back day, and everybody brings them all in one day, and I have no idea how many are in there, but there was a lot.
Hundreds, maybe?
Thousands, probably.
Thousands?
Oh, yeah. My back hurt the next day. Yes.
And the last question is, if we put a container somewhere where sharps could be deposited, would we de facto suggest that that's where people should go to use it? I mean, that would be my only concern is, I wouldn't want to put a receptacle somewhere and then say, oh, that's where everyone's going to go to use. And if it's near a school or a library or somewhere else, any thoughts on that? Or
I know some of the, some public bathrooms in the area have them in their bathrooms already, like Dunkin' Donuts that have had overdoses. They place boxes in their bathrooms. If I could suggest, the only place I could think of is near the shelter, because a lot of our clients reside there, and it is kind of out in the open. They don't use right there anyways because it's on Main Street. That, I don't think because it's out in the open that anybody's gonna use out in the open.
Councilor Nicastro.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you very much for being here. One or several of you mentioned that there's more than one program operating in the city that's giving out needles, okay, HIV and so forth. Do you ever work together to pick up needles? Mm-hmm. Since it's a common problem across all of you?
Yes, yep. Brockton Neighborhood Health Center has a team that goes out as well. We go sometimes together, sometimes separately. Recently, we've been working together to cover more ground. They let us know where they're going. We let them know where we're going so that we don't overlap, use our time more wisely.
Mm-hmm. It's important to us. We've received complaints, repeated complaints about, the safety of children as a result of there being needles and quantities of needles on the ground. And that's why I think you were invited to come this evening. And I appreciate very much hearing about your programs. I'm sure you work very hard to address this issue. In our community, we just hope that you'll work a bit harder on the needle issue, the needles on the ground issue. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Councilors, the question is now on adopting this resolve, and it can be by a hand vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Again, we thank you very much, and perhaps early next year, we can get an update on some things. Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk.
Item number 8, excuse me. Petition of BAS Holding Corporation, George L. Carney Jr., President of Brockton, Mass., for a garage license located at 433 Forest Ave, Brockton, Mass., in City Clerk's office, September 2021, postponed from November 8th, 2021 City Council meeting. Hearing is signed for November 22nd, 2021. Fire Department has no objections. All paperwork is on file.
Councilors, this hearing will now be reopened from its prior date. Is there anyone here in favor? Dr. Carney, want to
step up to the podium?
Good evening.
Appreciate the opportunity to come down and speak before the council tonight, sir.
Hopefully I can satisfy any questions if it's possible.
Counselor Ianieri, I believe you have a motion?
I do. At this time, what I'm going to offer is an amendment in regards to this item, and it's with the license that would be located at 43 Forest Avenue, and it would be a garage license, I should say, located at 433 Forest Avenue, and it's going to be identified, as Mr. Connie has indicated, it's going to be Building A, is from what That's right, sir. I've been told, and we're going to identify that, and we're going to do that by also putting up a sign. So that would be the amendment allowing that to take place. So I offer that in a motion, if I could.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion made and properly seconded to offer an amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment is adopted. Now we will continue. Is there anyone else here in favor? Anyone else here in favor of the amended order? If not, I'll declare that part of the hearing closed. Anyone here in opposition? Is there anyone here in opposition of the order as now amended? Anyone in opposition? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. Question now comes on adoption of the order granting the license, and that can be by a hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? One opposed. It is a vote. Thank you.
Have a nice night, and thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Connie.
Mr. Carney.
Mr. Clerk, item number 9.
Petition of Radiant Real Estate Trust, Andranik Aristumian trustee, Dartmouth Street, Brockton, for a garage license transfer located at 210 North Carey Street. In-city clerk's, in-city clerk's office, April 26, 2021. Hearing assigned for November 22nd, 2021. Fire department has no objections. All paperwork is on file.
I declare the hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? Anyone here in favor, please give your name to the clerk, sir.
Andranik Aristumian.
All right. If you have any remarks that you want to make, please proceed.
No, I'm just here to transfer the license over and hear what you guys have to say and go from there.
All right. This is Councilor Thompson's ward, I believe. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Arisa Marion, for being here today and for your time earlier today to discuss this. So we had a conversation about the transfer of the license. So as this council remembers, last year we did a transfer of the auto body license on this property. And so now Mr. Arustamayan has purchased the building, and now you're looking to acquire the other 2 licenses to continue the motor vehicle repair and the garaging on this location. So as we discussed last time you were before us last year, and as we discussed a little earlier today, you know, some of the issues regarding this shop is some of the noise issues. So can you tell the residents about, you know, what you do to try to limit the noise coming from your workplace? Now, obviously, you know, through the particular zoning in Brockton, this industrial area is basically right up against a residential area. So, you know, there are residences just right across the street from your shop. So if you could just please, you know, just kind of tell, what do you do to prevent the noise from your shop traveling into the residential neighborhoods?
We have posted a sign in the side of the building where usually most customers will pull up to. Says no idle time for the engines. All of the work performed at the shop is performed within the 4 walls of the shop. We don't normally work outside on any cars because it's just not easy to work on the floor. So everything's usually done inside. In the summertime, the doors are open, so there might be a little bit more noise coming from the shop, such as hammers and air impact guns and things like that. And a lot of the noise also comes from the tractor trailers going into Spiegel's behind me. So I've seen a lot of times where tractor trailers will jake brake right across the whole street and just creates a whole bunch of noise. And I have no control over any of that.
This first one is the garage license. I'm wondering if the noise issue might be on the next one.
Well, just in an effort to speed the things along, I'll just ask and that way we can just kind of get through it a little quicker. Additionally, what was the other one? You said you put up signage requesting non-idling. What are your hours of operation? What are your hours on your license?
We are open from 9 a.m. I think on the license, it says 8 to 6, but we're normally there at 9 a.m. till 6. Saturday and Sunday, Sundays we're closed, Saturdays appointment by only. And we usually don't work on Saturdays, but it's Monday to Friday mostly.
Understood. And then additionally, I know that there are other, parking on the street. So obviously, it's not lawful to park, line up your cars on the street. So have you, can you tell us what are the mitigation efforts you do to prevent parking on the street?
Yes, I have talked to my neighbor next door, Tony, at Spiegel's, and I have been, since I moved to Lynch's location, for the last 3 years or 2 years now, I've been paying rent for that little section of the property in front of his lot where the street is. So all the cars are inside rather than being outside. If there's any cars on the outside, it's usually an overnight drop-off, which customers just sometimes don't know where to put their car at night other than where it's lit up, where it would be in front. But that'll be gone by the morning time.
All right, thank you for that. That's really all my questions, Mr. President, so thank you, sir.
So we'll do the garage license first, and then you may want to offer stipulations on the repair license, correct?
I mean, the stipulations are basically all attached to the license itself, so I wouldn't have any additional stipulations outside of what our ordinances require.
All right. Anyone else here in favor of the garage license transfer? Anyone else here in favor? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here in opposition to the transfer of the garage license? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. The question now comes on granting the transfer by a hand vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? It is a vote. Mr. Clerk, item number 10.
Item 10, petition of Advanced Auto Performance LLC, Andronic Aristumian, Dartmouth Street, Brockton, Mass. For a motor vehicle repair mechanical license transfer located at 210 North Carey Street, Brockton, Mass. In City Clerk's office, April 26, 2021. Hearing assigned for November 22, 2021. Fire Department has no objections. All paperwork is on file.
All right, I declare the hearing open. Councilors, you just heard a recitation basically of the information relating to this. Any further questions or comments?
I would just ask one additional thing, Mr.
Councilor
President.
Thompson.
That just, sir, just maybe if, as you're doing repairs of your clients' vehicles, just to kind of give them a reminder that there are residents outside of your shop, and that, that any revving of the engines, any racing outside, is, that if they would not do that, maybe just, just to have them informed of, that issue, it would be appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Well, there's one thing with the racing thing I want to say again. A lot of people just simply speed on that street. Again, I have no control over the speed, but if you're referring to people leaving the shop, unless they're angry, which is not often, they're not. I can only tell them to do so much on my own. There are signs, like I said, to no idling, no revving of the engine.
And those signs are also in your shop, correct?
They're outside on the wall, correct?
Okay. No further questions, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Azak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a quick question. So these are transfers. Who's the existing owner now?
Kevin Lynch, I believe.
Lynch? So it's, okay. And you're going to keep the same stipulations, same type of business, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else here in favor? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. Anyone else? Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here in opposition? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. The question now comes on granting by a hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? It is a vote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, councilors.
Item number 11, petition of Kevin Thompson at Extreme Auto LLC, Waverly Street, Brockton, Mass. For a garage license transfer located at 350 North Main Street, Brockton, Mass. In City Clerk's office, July 14th, 2021. Hearing assigned for November 22nd, 2021. Fire Department has no objections. All paperwork is on file.
The time having arrived, I declare the hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how you doing?
Good, would you state your name and for the record, please?
Kevin Thompson.
And if you'd like any comments, or counselors can ask questions, whatever you want, Kevin.
I don't have any comments. Any questions, I'll answer any questions
All right,
though.
Counselor Azak?
This is more of a comment, not so much a question. I actually, a few months back, I was, this is in Ward 2, but it also borders Ward 7. So I was contacted and I went out to the business and met with the existing owner and the new owner. And so I'm happy to see you here before us this evening. I think, you know, this has been closed for a number of years now, and it's, you know, in between, it's gotten a little run down, so I'm looking forward to have you really fix it up and put some life back into this property and, you know, get a business up and running there because it's right on our main street, and it's really important to get, you know, we don't want to see empty vacant buildings. So I'm supporting this, and I support you in this business. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're here before us for a garage and a repair license, but did you have plans for, are you still going to continue with the rentals?
So the rental business is gonna be in Whitman. I'm
Oh,
not gonna change that location. I'm just adding a new entity to the business. So
Okay.
at this location, I'll be doing auto repair.
Very good. So I support it, and I think it'll be good to get, you know, get this building up and running. So thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Monahan?
But thank you. Oh, you looked to the right this time, that's good. Good evening, we talked earlier, so what are the stipulations? Are you just transferring the stipulations, same stipulations and hours of operation from the last licenses?
So I'm actually not sure the exact hours of the previous license. So I'm not sure, but.
What are you planning?
So I was hoping that I can be open from 7:30 in the morning to about 7 at night.
Monday to Friday?
Yes.
What about Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, 7:30 to 2, and then on Sundays, by appointment only.
If I could, Mr.
Right. I don't know about the Sundays.
The transfer, this is the garage license anyways.
Yeah.
So we'd be talking about the motor vehicle repair. The transfer carries with it the existing
It's, okay. So we just don't know what they're about.
stipulations. And in fact, Sunday is not allowed, so
Yeah.
by the existing, you'd have to come back and look for that. But the garage license doesn't have stipulations, but any transfer carries with it the existing stipulations.
We just don't know what they are.
I don't know if it's 8
Okay.
o'clock or 7:30.
All
I
right,
believe it's 7:30, but
so you're gonna have to carry whatever those stipulations were on both of these.
Okay, that's fine.
And if we want some changes later,
All right.
you have to come back. All right, thank you.
Anyone else here in favor? Anyone else here in come forward, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to speak in favor of this transfer. As a lot of you know, we speak about kind of a lot of bad things that happen when people are coming to the city to open new businesses. I'd like to speak about some of the good. We had the clerk come out, we had city council, fire department, all collectively to help Mr. Thompson transfer this license. Took some time, but again, collectively, I'd like to speak about how we kind of rallied around a young man trying to open a business, and he's now here. Thank you.
Anyone else here in favor? Anyone else here in favor? If not, please.
Hello. So my name is Kim Son, and I've known Kevin for a little over 4 years now. And I can definitely attest to his hard work, and he's very excited to bring the business to Brockton. He's been looking to find a location in Brockton for quite some time now, so when this opportunity presented itself, he was very excited to jump on board. So he does have a business in Whitman, and he's been running it for quite a while now, and he does very well, so I'm excited for him, and I'm hoping that he can bring that same energy to Brockton.
And I'm sorry, I missed your name. I don't know if the
Kim
clerk
Son.
on it.
Kim Son from the mayor's,
Huh?
Kim Son from the mayor's office.
With the mask on, you know,
Yeah.
those masks, I hate them. All right, anyone else in favor? Anyone else here in favor? Yes, sir. No, hold on one second.
Said in favor.
I'm his big brother, and I can attest that this kid's been looking at this building since he was this tall.
Could you give your name for the clerk, please?
Come on up.
I'm Calvin Thompson. Calvin Thompson. He's a good kid.
All right, and the next one, sir.
Yes, my name is Stephen Hurwitz. I am the owner of the building on 350 North Main Street. And I had a very successful business in the city of Brockton. And I ended the business in 2016, and me and Kevin have been working very hard to bring it back and be a nice, substantial business in the city of Brockton. And I think he can do it, and I'd be happy to see him, in the building and actually operating.
Very nice. Anyone else? Come on up.
Thank you. William Callahan, a Realtor. I'm working with Stephen Hurwitz for the last couple of years on the sale of the building. And thank you very much for allowing us to be here this evening. Stephen's worked hard, a lot of work needed in the building, and I was very happy to be introduced to Kevin Thompson, who came and stood up and said, whatever I can do to help. And especially during our meeting when we had Ed Williams there, Deputy Chief Ed Williams. Did we get the title right, Deputy Chief?
Yes.
Okay. Kevin was very forthcoming, and all his family was there with him. So I think he'll do a terrific job on North Main Street, and certainly it'll make that area much more pleasant to the eye as we drive up and down that street. Thank you.
Anyone else in favor? Anyone else in favor? I declare that part of the hearing closed. Anyone else? Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here in opposition? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. This is only on the garage license now. We'll do the repair in a minute. The question comes on granting by a hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? Transfer is granted. Item number 12.
Petition of Kevin Thompson and Extreme Auto LLC for a transfer of a motor vehicle repair mechanical license and transfer of motor vehicle repair body license located at 350 North Main Street, Brockton, Mass. In City Clerk's Office, July 14th, 2021. Hearing signed for November 22nd, 2021. All paperwork is on file. Fire Department has no objections to the motor vehicle repair mechanical license. They do have objections on the motor vehicle repair body license, as does not conform to standards outlined by MGL, CMR, and ROCOB. Currently, there is no proper equipment to allow for painting, priming, or bonding on the premises. Pending inspection and approval by the Fire Department of proper equipment that has been installed, the Fire Department would then have no objections.
All right, the time having arrived, I declare the hearing open. Kevin, I assume you're here in favor again?
Yes.
All right. And may I also assume that the prior speakers are in favor again? Not that I'm trying to hurry you out of here. Councilor Monahan.
Thompson? I know you don't look this way that often. I know you can get confused. I mean, until you had Mr. Callahan speaking, we're going to really just go right through. There's no problem. But anyway, so other than that, you're going to have to follow the same stipulations as the license that you're transferring, and what's going on now with the Fire Department. But that's all. Thanks.
Anyone else?
He's fine.
Anyone else here in favor? Anyone else in favor? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. Anyone here in opposition? Anyone here in opposition? If not, I declare that part of the hearing closed. Mr. Clerk, do we need to do anything contingent based on the Fire Department letter, or are we free to go forward and grant?
Granting pending, with the motor vehicle body repair would be pending approval by the Fire Department, pending inspection by the Fire Department.
All right. Someone want to make a motion?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion made and properly seconded to grant, with the understanding the Fire Department will have to inspect regarding the body shop.
The motor vehicle body license won't be transferred until that time.
Same stipulations. All right, the question now is on granting by a hand vote. All in favor? All opposed? It is a vote.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A lifelong dream is realized. Thank you all for coming in, by the way. Thank you. Item number 13.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Report of the Real Estate Committee for its meeting of November 15th, 2021.
Accepted and filed.
Report of the Finance Committee for its meeting of November 15th, 2021.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Fire Chief recommending the promotion of Fire Lieutenant Brendan Weeks to the rank of Fire Captain.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Fire Chief recommending the promotion of Firefighter Jonathan Roderick to the rank of Fire Lieutenant.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Mayor appointing Peggy Curtis of Dixon Road, Brockton, Mass. to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Mayor reappointing Brian Madden of Brockton, Mass. to the Brockton Community Access Board for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Accepted and filed.
Appointment from the Mayor reappointing Julie Castrodeus of Brockton, Mass. to the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the Mayor in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the appropriation of $3,591,312.63 from the Stabilization Fund, $2,289,781.84, and from the ARPA Fund, $1,301,530.79 for the purposes of funding the Brockton Police Patrolman Association contract, without detrimental impact on the continuous provision of the existing level of municipal services. This appropriation provides funding for 3 years, July 1st, 2019 through June 30, 2022, of a 3-year contract.
Accepted and filed.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and filed.
Petition of KG Collective Brockton LLC requesting an adult use retail marijuana license located at 912 Crescent Street, Brockton, Mass.
Referred to the Finance Committee.
Unfinished business, appointment of Iolando Spinola of Noyes Ave, Brockton to the Zoning Board of Appeals Associate Member for a 3-year term ending in October 2024. In City Council, October 25th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on confirmation by roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
No.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nicastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
The appointment is confirmed.
Order that the mayor and/or treasurer collector be authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to convey the property consisting of 4,739 square feet located and known as Plot 66, 243 Green Street, parcel ID 051-081, to Nicole Wiggins, 245 Green Street, Brockton, Mass., for the purchase price of $1,400. Said property to be sold under the abutter lot program and to be sold with a permanent non-buildable restriction. Said property should also merge with a budding lot of the purchaser. The lots shall merge within 6 months of purchase. In City Council, June 28th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Real Estate, postponed from September 8th, 2021 real estate meeting to November 15th, 2021 real estate meeting. That report was favorable as amended.
Question now is on adoption.
President, I just have a comment to make
Yes,
regarding this
Councilor
item.
Azak.
So, I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but I have a problem with this non-buildable restriction because we're putting these restrictions on, and then years down the line, we get counselors, as you'll see in the next items, where residents are requesting that we take these these restrictions off. Is there any way that we can document, make actually write out what we're restricting and why we're...
Wait,
Councilor.
point of information.
Okay, I'm not on real estate, so that's why sometimes it gets to us and we don't know, and...
Councilor Lally, point of information.
Point of information, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Azak. This was just put on just to make sure. There were some questions about whether or not the purchaser could eventually build something on the property. The property is much too small for anything to be built on it. It's strangely shaped. The question came up because there was a house on it at some point, which burned down, but that was before, a lot of the current rules and regulations have come in. And I can show you the documentation from the real estate committee meeting, but basically, the shape layout of the lot and the neighborhood surrounding it would really mean that nothing would be buildable there anyway. That was just put in by the members of the committee just to make sure that the committee and the applicant were abundantly clear that this would not be for any kind of real estate investment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Counselor. So I just want to make it clear, it has nothing to do, I'm going to support this, but I just want to make sure from experience, and we've had a lot of these restrictions put on different size lots, and then we get not necessarily this resident, but maybe somebody in the future that purchases this. I just want to make sure that we're covered that we're stating the story and they know down the line why these restrictions are on there, and that they, and if we don't want them to be removed, why they shouldn't be removed. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm a little confused because and I know I'm a member of the real estate committee, but if the piece of property that we're asking to remove the restriction will continue to be non-buildable, why are we lifting the restriction?
Point of information, Mr. Chairman?
Next order.
I'm saying what she's actually talking about. I'm referring to what Councilor Azak was talking about. I see that it's the next item, but if we're removing something and the property is going to go on as non-buildable, why are we going through the process of removing a label attached to the order?
We're not removing anything, Councilor.
On 26.
On 26, we're not removing anything.
Right.
On 27, we are being asked to remove a non-buildable restriction. The biggest difference between items 26 and 27 are that the item on 26, the lot is too small. It's part of the abutters lot program.
Correct.
It naturally fits. The item under 27 was larger than the abutters lot program would allow. This was done in the late 90s and early 2000s by the council at the time in an effort to build up more green space within the city. Lots that were buildable were declared by the council to be non-buildable and sold as if they were an abutters lot program lot to neighbors. So the question regarding 27 is more of, the council will have to weigh among themselves whether or not they would want to create the precedent of overdoing a prior council order and or eliminating something that was designated for green space.
Well, Mr. President, why don't we go ahead and do the vote on 26, and then we'll discuss 27, because I have something to say on that as well.
I agree.
So I don't know if Councilor Rodriguez understood what I meant. So number 26 is being sold with a permanent non-buildable restriction.
Correct.
So we're putting a restriction on that.
Right.
So my point was just that when we're putting this restriction, we're not just putting the word restriction, but we're indicating why we're restricting it and giving it a little history. So years down the line, when whoever is sitting here and whoever may come before us and ask to remove this restriction, they're not, as we often sit here, wonder why was this restriction put on there, and question, and then we're questioned, or whoever's asked to remove the restriction questions their morality of how their morals of why are they removing this? Is it their friend? Is it not their friend? That's why I'm asking for this, to make sure that we're clear.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so the question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
DeCastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. Item number 27.
Ordered that the city of Brockton remove its order dated December 10th, 2001, regarding the property located at and known as Plot 3 Melrose Ave Street, map 164, Route 301, that declared said lot as having a non-buildable restriction so that a possible sewer main benefiting the residences of Melrose Ave may be installed, and giving authority to the mayor of the city of Brockton to execute any and all documents necessary to lift any restrictions in the deed to said property. In City Council, September 27th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Real Estate. That report was favorable.
The question now comes on adoption by a roll call vote. Councilor Cardozo.
So I have a question about this. When Councilor Lally just spoke about setting precedents, have we done this before?
Through you,
can
Mr.
remember.
President?
Councilor Lally.
The items like this have come up several times. In all but one instance, the council has voted against them. There was one instance where this was approved, the removing of the non-buildable, but in every other that I've been present for, the attempt to remove the non-buildable restriction has failed.
So why did we recommend this favorably then?
It was the vote of the real estate committee to recommend it favorably.
Because I've had two residents that have come up to me for help with lots that were deemed non-buildable, and they were trying to get the city to change that. So to Councilor Azak's point, how are we making sure that there's a fair process around this so that we're not playing favoritism to certain folks?
Councilor Cardozo, I actually attended the real estate meeting. It was moved favorably to get it to the council so that then everyone could have a full and fair opportunity to discuss this. I don't think it was done indicating that everyone would vote for it, but that was part of the process because you can't make a negative motion under Robert's rules. So there was an affirmative motion to get it to where it is tonight. Just for your information, the person who purchased this property back in the late 90s paid $2,700 for it. By their own admission, they now have a buyer for about $70,000. So I'm suggesting that the opportunity to sell something you purchased for $2,700 now for $70,000 may be a motivating factor. I can't look into the person's mind, but I'm just surmising that may be a factor as to why they want the non-buildable restriction removed.
And just for a point of information, if there are folks out there that are looking to do the same, do they have the same opportunity to come in front of real estate?
Point of information, Mr.
If I could on the process, because you are asking about the process. City Council is the only, put the stipulation on, and the City Council are the only people that can release that stipulation. So the process is, and again, I won't speak to whether you should or shouldn't, but they would have to, anybody would have to come to the City Council, and it's up to any city councilor to file that. Any city councilor can file an order, but the only people that can take that restriction off is the city councilor, because they're also the ones that put that on under the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
The chair would say that in a past administration, Solicitor Nasrallah expressed great skepticism about removing these because basically you're opening the floodgates to everybody wanting the same privilege. And he strongly urged that you not do that because it just sets in motion what could be a plethora of requests coming in for relief. So, Councilor Monahan.
Yes, and I'm just reading this. So that a possible sewer main benefiting the residents of Melrose Ave may be installed. That's why they want to take off the restriction.
Well, that's
what it says.
I defer to Councilor Lally first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant, when they came before the real estate committee, did say that with the removal of the non-buildable restriction, they intended to build a house there. Melrose Ave, parts of Melrose Ave now, do not have sewer. So this applicant's intent was, if the non-buildable restriction were removed, they would, purchase or pay for the installation of a sewer line from their property down the hill to where there is existing sewer. And so that's why it was worded that way. I think it's the wording is a little the wording could be rearranged to make this better. I don't believe it's some of it's not the standard wording that we have in here, so that creates a little bit of confusion. But that is what was discussed in the real estate committee meeting.
Are we
Thank
ready?
you, Mr. Chairman.
Are we ready for a vote? All right, the question now is whether you want to remove the non-buildable restriction on this piece of property, which would
Right,
allow
Mr.
the person
Mr. Chairman,
to,
Can I ask for a reverse roll call?
sure. Yeah, we'll start at the,
Sure.
start at the, Thompson end of things.
All right, Thompson,
No.
Rodriguez,
No.
Nicastro,
No.
Monahan,
No.
Mendez,
No.
Lally,
Yes.
Farwell,
No.
Ianary,
No.
Cardozo,
No.
Azak.
No.
That's 1 in the affirmative, 9 in opposition.
All right, the order is not adopted. Item number 28.
Ordered that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the city of Brockton require the laying out of Sunset Ave, extending from Bouvet Ave, easterly a distance of 337.29 feet, and for that purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said city of Brockton. In City Council, June 28th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance and Planning. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Number 29, ordered that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the city of Brockton require the laying out of Berkeley Street from Rutland Square northerly to Market Street, a distance of 354.79 feet, and for that purpose, it is necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and lay out as a public street or way of said city of Brockton. In City Council, June 28th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance and Planning. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. Item 30.
Ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, Section 53A, recommending that the City Council accept the grant amount up to $34,590,793 from unappropriated estimated receipts, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, for purposes of, including but not limited to, COVID response, mitigation, and prevention activities. Said fund shall be held in a special revenue fund called the ARPA Fund. Any appropriation from the ARPA grant in excess of $750,000 shall be subject to City Council approval. In City Council, August 23rd, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance, referred back to Finance from the September 13th, 2021 meeting to October 18, 2021 Finance meeting. Postponed October 18th, 2021 to November 15th, 2021 Finance meeting. That report was favorable as amended.
Councilors, we vote first on the amendment that was agreed to in Finance. Is the wording in the, on this agenda properly formatted, or do you have something different, Legislative Counsel?
The amendment was the $750,000 limit, correct?
Does that
That's
look-
correct, yep.
Okay, so we now vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment? All opposed? The amendment is adopted. We now vote on the order as amended. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order as amended is adopted. Item 31.
Ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby transferred as the same was submitted by the mayor. As follows: transfer of $2 million from retirement fund contributory pensions to the stabilization fund. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nicastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Item 32, ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby transferred as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows: transfer of $20 million from the retirement fund contributory pensions to the pension stabilization fund. In City Council, November 8th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro? Oh, excuse me. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted. 33.
33, ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $85,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health Legislative Earmark Funding Grant to the Mayor's Office Legislative Earmark Funding Grant Fund. These grant funds will be used to support the Champion Program. There is no match required. In City Council, November 8th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in
order-
opposition.
The order is adopted.
Ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $20,000 from In Good Health to the Brockton Police Department. The donation will be used for canine-related items as needed for the Brockton Police Department. In City Council, November 8th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $100 from Quincy Credit Union to the Brockton Police Department. The donation will be used for canine-related items as needed for the Brockton Police Department. In City Council, November 8th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question comes on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted. 36.
Ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $50,000 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security's Office of Grants and Research to the fiscal year 22 Municipal Road Safety Grant. To the Brockton Police Department fiscal year 22 Municipal Road Safety Grant Fund. $36,456.67 of these grant funds will be used to fund overtime shifts during 5 enforcement campaigns. These are the winter impaired driving in December 2021, distracted driving in April 2022, click it or ticket in May 2022, summer speed in June 2022, and summer impaired driving in August and September 2022. $6,028.26 will be used for the bike unit to conduct bike rodeos. $6,028.27 will be used for overtime shifts for pedestrian and bike safety enforcement. $1,186.80 will be used to purchase 750 bicycle lights for youth, and $300 will be used to print 750 resource cards to be distributed during the bike rodeo. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted. 37.
Ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $15,449.50 from the U.S. Department of Justice fiscal year 21 Bulletproof Vest Program Grant to the Brockton Police Department fiscal year 21 Bulletproof Vest Program Grant Fund. These grant funds are used for the reimbursement of 50% of the cost of bulletproof vests for Brockton police officers whose vests need to be replaced in the upcoming cycle. There is no required match for these funds because this program allows the department to recoup 50% of the bulletproof vest expenses as it must make for officer safety. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. 38.
Ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of a donation in the amount of $23 from Joao Montero to Brockton Police Department. The donation will be used for canine-related items as needed for the Brockton Police Department. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted. Item 39.
Ordered that the following named sum be, and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $1,955,356.19 from the stabilization fund, $1,356,621.87. To police fiscal year 20 personal services other than overtime retroactive payment, $167,002.40. Police fiscal year 20 overtime retroactive payment, $12,719.77. Police fiscal year 21 personal services other than overtime retroactive payment, $345,770.27. Police fiscal year 21 overtime retroactive payment, $12,500.60. Police fiscal year 22 personal services other than overtime, $799,070.77. Police fiscal year 22 overtime, $19,558.06. And from the opera fund, $598,734.32. To the police fiscal year 20 personal services other than overtime, retroactive payment, $7,556.09. Police fiscal year 21 personal services other than overtime retroactive payment, $100,250.94. Police fiscal year 22 personal services other than overtime, $355,927.29. Police COVID bonus, $135,000 for the purposes of funding the Brockton Police Supervisors Union contract. This appropriation provides funding for 3 years, July 1st, 2019 through June 30, 2022 of a 3-year contract. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
The order is adopted.
Number 40, ordered that the City Council authorizes the acceptance and expenditure of the total grant funds in the amount of $18,750 from Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency Hazard Mitigation Grant to the Department of Public Works Hazard Mitigation Grant Fund. The grant funds will be used to update the local multi-hazard mitigation plan. There is a 25% required in-kind match. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
9 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted. Item 41.
Ordered that the following named sum be, and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $250,000 from the United States Environmental Protection Agency EPA Cleanup Grant to the Department of Planning and Economic Development EPA Cleanup Grant Fund. The grant funds will be used to remediate the environmental concerns at the Cochran Building at 308 Montello Street. This grant requires a $50,000 match. Funds from the Mass Development Brownfield Grant Award will be used as a source for this match. In City Council, November 8th, 2021, read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
Question is on adoption by a roll call vote. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Ianary?
No.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Nacastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
8 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
The order is adopted. Item 42.
Resolved to invite, a representative of Brockton Community Access to appear before the Finance Committee to discuss the television coverage of the September 14th preliminary election in City Council, September 27th, 2021. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. Postponed October 18th, 2021 to November 15th, 2021 Finance meeting. That report was favorable.
This question is by hand vote. All in favor of adopting the resolve? All opposed? It is adopted. 43, we have already taken care of, councilors. 44.
Orders. Ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby appropriated as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Appropriation of $3,591,312.63 from the Stabilization Fund, $2,289,781.86 to the Police Fiscal Year 20 Personal Services other than overtime retroactive payment, $265,904.67. Police Fiscal Year 20 overtime retroactive payment, $28,585.09. Police Fiscal Year 21 Personal Services other than overtime retroactive payment, $609,572.43. Police Fiscal Year 21 overtime retroactive payment, $21,845.51. Police Fiscal Year 22 Personal Services other than overtime, $1,333,359.52. Police Fiscal Year 22 overtime, $30,514.62. And from the ARPA Fund, $1,301,530.79 to the Police Fiscal Year 20 Personal Services other than overtime retroactive payment, $16,212.80. Police Fiscal Year 21 Personal Services other than overtime retroactive payment, $215,104.48. Police Fiscal Year 22 Personal Services other than overtime, $641,213.51. Police COVID bonus, $429,000 for the purposes of funding the Brockton Police Patrolmen's Association contract. This appropriation provides funding for 3 years, July 1st, 2019 through June 30, 2022 of a 3-year contract.
This will be referred to Finance next Monday. Item 45.
Ordered that the Brockton City Council adopts new precinct lines based upon the official United States 2020 Census block level data. These boundaries will take effect on December 31st, 2021. Attached maps and legal boundary descriptions as prepared by the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office.
Referred to Finance. Councilor Lally.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce a motion to introduce a late file.
Second.
And a motion made and properly seconded to introduce a late file. All in favor? All opposed? It is a vote. Mr. Clerk. It's the one in the police department. Bill is overdue.
We have a communication from the mayor, from the chief of police. Dear Mayor Sullivan and members of the City Council, please consider this letter as my request for the fiscal year 21 Flooring Designs, Inc. invoice from April 13th, 2021 in the amount of $9,995.23 with fiscal year 22 funds. While good faith efforts to pay this invoice with fiscal year 21 funds were made, they were ultimately unsuccessful, leaving this as our only option to pay the vendor for services rendered. Accepted and
placed on file.
we have a communication from the mayor relative to the same,
Accepted and placed on file.
and a communication from the chief financial officer relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Ordered that the city council authorizes the total proposed approval of $9,995.23 from police department purchase of services to Flooring Design, Inc. This will be used to pay an invoice dated April 30, 2021.
Councilors, I actually had communication with Ms. St. James at the police department. The bill didn't get paid in a timely fashion, and the vendor is owed the money, and that's why this has now come in. It was one of those inadvertent errors, and this is the mechanism under the law to allow payment for the services rendered.
So should we?
Refer to finance, you want?
No, I'm hoping that someone will make a motion to act on it this
I
evening.
would like to make a motion to act on this, take this under suspension of the rules and act on it this
Second.
evening.
A motion made and properly seconded to suspend the rules and act on it this evening. All in favor? All opposed? Question now comes on the expenditure itself. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Azak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Ianary?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Nacastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
10 in the affirmative.
I move for reconsideration in hopes it does not prevail.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion made for reconsideration in the hope that it does not prevail. It's been properly seconded. All in favor of reconsideration? All opposed? Reconsideration fails. Now, we have other late files.
I have other late files.
Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion for acceptance of a late file relative to a resolve regarding the noise ordinance.
All right, been a motion made and properly seconded to admit a late file. All in favor? All opposed? It is a vote.
Resolved to invite Emmanuel Gomes, Chief of the Brockton Police Department, to appear before the Finance Committee to discuss the use by Brockton Police Department of the noise ordinance, revised ordinances for the city of Brockton, section 14-50, noise control, passed in February of 2021, including without limitation, number of noise complaint calls received with dates and hours of the day, the names of the responding officers, and the disposition, including number of matters resulting in violation notices issued and/or referred for court action, with this requested information provided to council members prior to the meeting at which the matter is heard. Jeffrey Thompson, Ward 5 Councilor. Susan Nacastro, Ward 4 Councilor. Refer to Finance?
Finance.
I have several appointments that came late file from the mayor's office, so we don't need sponsors on. I have communication, dear Mayor Sullivan, due to the retirement of Lieutenant Donald Gazzaro, I respectfully request that your requisition promotional list for the following rank: 1 fire lieutenant in the city of Brockton. Strictly
Accepted and placed on file.
2 members of the City Council, I hereby appoint Ruby Clay of 607 Summer Street, Brockton, Mass. to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term ending in November 2024. Respectfully submitted, Mayor Robert Sullivan.
Referred to Finance.
2 members of the City Council, I hereby appoint Janet Trask of 121 Longwood Ave, Brockton, Mass. to the Diversity Commission for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Referred to Finance.
To the members of the City Council, I hereby reappoint John O'Donnell of 30 Rock Meadow Drive, Brockton, Mass. to the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term ending in November 2024.
Referred to Finance.
We have a letter from Mr. O'Donnell with his resume, which I'll forward to all of you. And we have a letter from the mayor requesting, due to the retirement, to members of the City Council, due to the retirement of Lieutenant Donald Gazzaro, I hereby recommend the requisition of a promotional list for the following rank: 1 fire lieutenant in the Brockton Fire Department.
Accepted and placed on file.
And I believe, anybody else got one? I think that's it.
Did you get that one for the retroactive pay for the council?
Reconsideration.
Everybody else is getting it.
In the mail.
Late files. If not, Councilor's recognition. Councilor Razak.
Thank you. A moment of council's recognition. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody at home a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving this Thursday. And then to remind everyone that Saturday, November 27th is the community holiday celebration. It's starting from 10 a.m. and it goes on till 4 p.m. with our annual parade starting at 1. It's going to be a little bit smaller than past years, but I look forward to seeing everybody there, and please visit the city website to get more information. Thank you.
Councilor Ianary.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to remind the ordinance committee, we're meeting here tomorrow in the chambers at 6:30 p.m. That's tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. Please be prompt. Thank you.
I'd like to mention that I've been relatively good this year, and I didn't get a Santa hat, so
Here you go.
I don't take it personally.
Yours is on the end of the desk.
The councilor Mendez handed them out, so talk to her.
I'm going to be better next year so that I merit a Santa hat. All right? If there's no further business.
Whoa, wait a minute, wait. Put it on.
From us to you, Mr. President.
Now you have to put it on.
Now you gotta put it on.
Put it on.
Ain't gonna fit that head.
If BCA could zoom in on the president's desk.
Oh.
Graduated from college again, I feel like that.
My God.
Our councilors, on a personal note, I extend to you very best wishes for a happy Thanksgiving to friends. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. You're a great group, and I really appreciate all of you, and I like the fact that we get through these rather tedious meetings with some due haste. I will say the clerk has performed admirably, a little break.
A little scratchy.
But all of that said, meeting adjourned.